Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 2036 AN. Today's date is December 3rd, 2019, and the title of the episode is Central Bank Panic, EU and WTO Ruling, Trump Moves Forward Against the Central Bank. Now, before we get started, let's talk about Trump. You know, ever since President Trump got into office, his opposition have sniped and moaned. It's bad enough for the president, but his loyal supporters have a hard time too. So if you know someone that loyal, that determined, that patriotic, and they're special to you, we'd like to give you a gift idea for the holiday season. The Trump Commander-in-Chief Solid Silver Limited Edition coin, made in America for Americans. You can get one by going to Trump2020.com and use the code to get $10 off per coin and a free collector's case. So use my code X22Report10 and get this incredible offer for this holiday season. Click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, Trump and the Patriots, they are doing quite a bit to clear the way for this new economic system. And when you step back and you really take a look at what he's been doing, you can see how he's trying to pivot, maneuver, and create leverage and make these countries, these central bank countries, which are controlled by the central bank, make them do what he needs them to do in order for us to transition into this new economic system. Take, for example, where Trump went ahead and he signed the Hong Kong bill. Now, when we look at China, we can see this puts pressure on the Chinese government. We also understand that China is not doing well. Remember, Trump has tariffs in place. Manufacturers are moving out. And we can see that Hong Kong, their retail industry, is declining. When we look at the month of October, retail sales, they have plunged by 24.3% year over year. But this was by far the worst print on record, as the tourist industry in the last 6 months has completely evaporated. GDP right now in Hong Kong was revised lower for a full year growth to negative 1.3%. That marked the first annual decline since 2009. Now, Chinese mainlanders and tourists from across the world, they've canceled bookings, retailers are struggling, and it looks like the Chinese economy is having a very difficult time. This is to put pressure on China, put pressure on the entire central bank system. This goes way beyond China. And we know that Trump right now, he likes the tariffs in place. He actually said that he doesn't have a deadline for reaching a trade agreement with China. In some ways, it might be better to wait until 2020, after the 2020 election, to actually reach a deal. Now, why is he doing this? He's doing this because it's not a trade war. It's not a currency war. It's a war on the central bank system. And what he's doing right now is he's evening out the playing field. Now, while he's evening out the playing field, and what I mean by that, he's renegotiating a lot of the trade deals or creating new trade deals. And while all this is happening, he's setting up the transitional economic system. This is why he needs the USMCA passed so bad. And this is why they push so hard to get that ruling against the EU in the World Trade Organization, which we'll talk about in just a minute so we can make sense of all this. But what is happening right now, since this ruling, the World Trade Organization panel ruled right now that the European Union, they haven't complied with an order to end illegal subsidies for plane maker Airbus. And this is what prompted the Trump administration to impose tariffs on nearly $7.5 billion U.S. worth of EU goods in October. Now, in its ruling, the WTO compliance panel found that the EU had not taken sufficient steps to end harm to Boeing, the major rival in Europe's Airbus. The EU is expected to appeal, though the United States is on the cusp of preventing the WTO's appeals court from ruling on any new appeals. Now, why was this so important? Why was the WTO ruling so important for the Trump administration and for this transitional economic system? Now, keep in mind, A final WTO ruling means the EU cannot retaliate against any WTO authorized countermeasures. So what does that mean? What makes this incredible and excellent is the timing for Brexit. If Boris Johnson can get out of the EU without strings, Trump can use these WTO authorized tariffs to position a UK trade deal with the US as a trade superhighway. And this plays right into Trump's hands, into a global trade realignment. Trump's goal is reciprocity. However, the EU and Asia, specifically China, don't want to give up decades-long multi-generational advantage. And this is part of the fight. But with this ruling, remember the EU cannot retaliate. And this is very important. And this is why they don't want to abide by the WTO ruling. And this is why Trump says, no, this is the ruling and that is it. And I'm not saying him specifically, I'm talking about his whole administration. It gives them leverage. And this is what Trump is all about. It's about having leverage over countries, over the central bank, over the globalist system right now, to shape it and pivot away from what they were trying to do. That's the entire plan here. And as we can see, Trump is continually hitting the Fed. And why is he doing this? He's doing this because the other central bank systems, and I'm not saying they're all separate and apart, they're all part of the same exact thing, but they're trying to push Trump and the United States into the corner by continually devaluing their currency, by lowering rates. And the Fed was working in the opposite way because their entire plan was to destroy the economy, blame it on Trump. So Trump right now is battling this and using the Fed to battle what the central bankers were trying to do. And I do believe he has control of the Federal Reserve. He tweeted out the following: the Fed should lower rates. There is almost no inflation, and loosen, making us competitive with other nations, and manufacturing will soar. Dollar is very strong relative to others. He wants a weakened dollar. He wants rates cut. He wants stimulus. And he needs to do this because all the other countries are being instructed to do this. And he knows why. The patriots know why. We know why. Because they're panicking. The central bank, the deep state, they are panicking. Trump, he's in the process of destroying the central bank globalist system. And you can see by the mainstream media and what articles they're putting out there, you can tell that they're panicked about this. Remember, they started out that there's going to be a recession. All the indicators point to it. Recession's coming, recession. Then they kind of backed off of all of this because they knew it wasn't going to happen. They tried to push people into bringing this country into a recession. But with everything that Trump is doing, they couldn't combat this. So now they're trying to figure out a way to show everyone that he has no idea what he's doing. The Washington Post put out this article, and they're trying to make the case that Trump doesn't understand currency wars. And that is exactly the title. Trump doesn't understand currency wars. He doesn't understand trade. He doesn't understand currency wars. He doesn't understand the Fed. He doesn't understand any of this. Of course he understands this. He's a businessman. Are you trying to tell me all the other presidents that came before him that had no clue in business or knew anything about business or built an empire, they knew what to do? No. What they're trying to do, and they're trying to build a case to show the American people that he might start a war. Remember the phrase, you have a trade war, a currency war equals real war. And Trump, he is not going to push any type of an event. He's not going to invade. He's ending the endless wars. What he is doing is he is starting a war, but this is an economic war, not on a particular country. It's an economic war on the central bank system. Very, very different. And this is what they're panicking about. He's not singling out a specific country. This is what the central bank does. They single out a country that is not abiding by their rules or doesn't have the private Western central bank in their country. And they try to push a war with that country. Just like Russia. They try to bring Russia into a full-blown war with the United States and other nations. But this is not what Trump is doing. He's pushing the central bank and the globalists into a corner. He's using all the weapons against themselves. All the weapons that they used to use, he's using it against them. And every time they try to do something, he stops them. He understands exactly what he's doing. He understands that tariffs will have no effect on anything here in the United States. Now, even though people are continually trying to convince you that, yes, tariffs are going to destroy the economy, tariffs are going to make prices rise, tariffs are going to do this and the other thing. Think about it. All the other countries have tariffs. They're getting billions and billions of dollars from the United States. All he's doing is switching it around. He's making an even playing field. And they don't want this to happen because they never wanted this to happen. They were lopsided. These tariffs were lopsided for a specific reason. To move the entire economic system out of the United States. And now, since Trump is resetting all this, they don't want this to happen. And this is why they're saying that he has no clue in what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's destroying their system. And as their system is destroyed, and it looks bad, and it looks like it's in bad shape, and it looks like there's a currency war, it looks like there's a trade war, it looks like it's uneven trade, it looks like this. This is a central bank system that is feeling all this. This is the mainstream media reporting on a central bank system that is imploding. And they don't like what Trump is doing. This is why they say Trump will hurt this system. No, Trump is not going to hurt the system. He's going to destroy this system and usher in a brand new system, a people-driven system. And like I said yesterday, you go back to the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton was out there saying if Trump puts forth his economic policies, we're going to see millions of jobs lost. We're going to go into a recession, a depression. It will be an utter disaster. Now remember, this is what they had planned for Trump. It didn't happen. He's creating more low-level jobs. He's creating a new economic system. And in the process, he's destroying their system. And they don't like it. That's what they're reporting on. You have to separate the two. Remember, you have the central bank illusion, which they want to keep running. And then you have the new economic system that is being built. Everything they're reporting on is the central bank illusionary system. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing with currency wars, with trade wars. He knows what he's doing because he's not trying to build the central bank system up. He wants to destroy the central bank system, and this is what they're actually reporting on. So the plan against the central bank is moving forward. He's not stopping. He's gaining more and more leverage every single day. And soon, you're going to see huge changes. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.